So as you look at this with your analyst eyes, what do you think will be the reaction to, let's say, a Trump getting elected? Because my concern is when watching the Sam Harris thing happen on the internet, I don't know how closely you paid attention to that, but basically the entire internet turned on what I think is one of the smartest, most thoughtful people. I think he's wrong, but to your point about you want to triangulate anyway, you're not just going to listen to one person. Sam is right about so many things. But I believe I understand Sam maybe better than a lot of people, in that the thing that Sam believes is that Donald Trump is an existential threat. And when someone becomes an existential threat, meaning it could wipe out humanity, I want to be very clear about what an existential threat is, that it's a whole new set of rules, baby. And you do whatever you have to do. And that if Sam, who is incredibly smart and extremely thoughtful, and I think a hyper moral person, but I also think he's wrong about this. So my thing is, okay, I think the real problem we have is we don't agree on what constitutes an existential threat. I actually don't know that we disagree about what to do in the face of a true existential threat. But like when I look at Trump getting elected, I'm like, please, Jesus, no. But at the same time, I don't see it as an existential threat. So, and I look at like, we had 4 years with him. The world didn't end, everybody. Like, but at the same time, other people look at it and like, bro, we dodged a nuclear weapon. Like, what are you talking? Like, it could be the end of humanity if he gets elected again. That freaks me out. The fact that people think, hey, him getting elected could end the world. Now, if this were like fringe crazies, I'd be like, whatever.
Yeah.
This is coming from some of the smartest people I know that they're very good at thinking through problems. So of course, part of me goes, is he an existential threat? Like, I don't think I'm the arbiter, right? So I'm Captain Distrust Yourself. But so the only thing I'm saying is when I analyze the situation, there are enough people that believe that he is an actual existential threat that if he gets elected, I think you have a problem. I don't think, look, I'm a big believer that America's freakishly resilient. I don't think it collapses. But do I think that at a minimum, we take another step towards a civil war? Yes, I really do. That one really freaks me out. Like I can buy into the proxy wars that World War III is going to be fought very surreptitiously. There won't be as much hot to the war. Okay, don't love it. Still very high stakes, still makes me very tense, but that's a lot better than, say, a World War II. But, dude, in the summer of 2020, I sat on my balcony and watched LA burn. And that wasn't even around existential threats, right? So, yeah, I don't know. And I don't know what's worse. And again, I'll ask you with your CIA analyst hat on, what's worse, Trump getting elected or Trump not getting elected?
So I'll start by saying that I disagree with all the smart people that you're referencing right now. And I would gladly...
Who think he's an existential threat?
Yes, I would gladly sit in front of anybody who believes that Trump is an existential threat and have a healthy debate on any topic they want to talk about. Because I have actually seen existential threats, and Trump is not that.
Can you paint an existential threat picture?
An existential threat is imminent. It means that it is the last step before the holistic destruction, the existence, destroying from existence the target that it is threatening, right? So let's consider a battleship, right? A hypersonic cruise missile will destroy a battleship, right? It is not an existential threat to the battleship. Even though it will destroy the battleship, it is not an existential threat to the battleship because if even one soldier survives, the memory of that battleship in current memory still exists. Not to mention all of the documentation about the battleship existing, and then they rebuild a new one, they give it the same moniker, and it's right back in service again, right? It is a perilous threat. It is not an existential threat. Truly existential threats are things that will wipe you off the face of the earth, right? Iran wants to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. That is an existential threat. And when they say that, when they announced that, they were talking about Israel, the state, and Jews. They want to destroy them. Nazi Germany posed an existential threat to the Jewish faith. Literally a systematic commitment to destroying an entire generation, like the entire existence of it forever, taking it off the world stage forever. That is an existential threat. What happens is that we have become spoiled in our terminology. Catastrophizing has become so common that now to get people emotional, to get people to move on their beliefs, you have to ramp everything up. To get past the volume and the velocity of data, you have to say the next most extreme thing. When you say the most extreme thing long enough, if you call yourself stupid enough times, guess what you start to believe? You start to believe you're stupid. Right. So when you tell people enough times, it's an existential threat, it's an existential threat, it's an existential threat, you start to actually believe, wow, maybe it really is an existential threat, without stopping to think. In one presidency, no president, Trump or anybody, no president can disband two of the three branches. The only thing the president can really do is write an executive order about the executive branch. If our Congress exists, we exist. If our judicial branch exists, we exist, right? And the other two branches are there to keep the executive branch in power. So one 4-year presidency, one 8-year presidency, two 8-year presidencies with President Trump is not, with a future President Trump, is not going to be the end of America. Could it do significant damage? Absolutely. But it's not an existential threat. It just isn't. It doesn't threaten to end the United States. It threatens to make life difficult, but lots of things threaten to make life difficult. We can't guarantee that Trump comes into office and somehow everything changes for the better. Who knows? We don't actually know. There's a term that we use in intelligence operations called the cone of uncertainty. And if you imagine like a funnel or a cone or a pennant, whatever, it's a certain shape. The timeline of known reality goes right up to the beginning of the cone. And then where you see the actual cone, that becomes an area of predictable confidence that you can guess within. But where that cone ends, everything past the cone is totally unpredictable. You have no confidence about what will happen one way or the other. So unless there is an existential threat, threatening the existence and future existence of something within that cone, then you can't really take it as a level of confidence one way or the other. So my recommendation to those people catastrophizing and everybody who's feeling that pressure, that anxiety, have a plan for when Donald Trump is announced as the winner of the presidency. Have a plan for it. Hope and vote against it all you want, but don't let it happen without a plan for what to do next. We have a plan for what to do next. Our plan takes us out of the United States. If Donald Trump becomes the president and our country takes a turn for the worse, we're leaving the United States. We already have the plan. If Joseph Biden wins the presidency and the United States takes a turn for the worse, we're leaving the United States. That's our plan. Doesn't mean that we're not proud to be Americans. It just means that where we are in our lives, with our children, with our business, with what we're trying to do in our personal mission, it is not to fix the United States right now. We'll let other people who are passionate about that fix the United States right now. We're going to go grow our family and take care of our family, grow our business, grow our impact, pay our taxes, and make sure the United States has the resources it needs to get through its adolescence. But other people are very dedicated to being part of the solution right now. And I applaud those people, and I want to give them the resources they need to be that level of impact.
It's interesting when you said earlier that you really believed in the supremacy of the U.S. I knew that you planned to leave. I thought it was a longer timeline than that. That's very interesting. So that tells me that you think that, well, let me not put words in your mouth. Are you saying that if one of those two gets elected, that there is a distressingly high probability of a bad turn?
Yes, I would agree with that statement completely.
Okay.
Regardless of which two, we're picking between two bad options. And that's just where we are right now. Unfortunately, I think there are good options on the table.
Who?
One of the options that I would actually personally love to see take the presidency is Nikki Haley.
I don't even know who that is.
And
I hear
and that's
her
why she's
name.
not going to win.
So I hear her name all the time. I'm going to have to watch something. I don't
Yeah.
know what she looks like. Never heard her voice.
I
Literally
think
no
I think
idea.
of all the things that the country could really benefit from right now, it's a female, level-headed centrist. And even though she runs on the Republican ticket, she is very much her narrative is a very centrist narrative. And I really like the idea of our country kind of coming out of this 8-year disaster by showing that one of the things that makes us so powerful is our diversity. And I think we are at a time now where a strong female leader would be welcomed here. Unfortunately, I think that Hillary Clinton, in many of the years that she was running, wasn't the right fit at the right time. I think Nikki Haley might be different than that, but that doesn't mean she's got any traction. That doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it is one of those 10% outcomes where all of a sudden I see like sunlight instead of more rain and snow.
Did she run last cycle?
Now it's the first time she's run. And unfortunately, she's showing a lot of the neophyte,
Making classic mistakes.
Yeah. Arguing over petty stuff and debates and blah, 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 blah. And not really showing that she's above all that. And to be president, you've got to be above all that frivolity.
Right.
Either you've got to do the Obama approach and just not address it, or you've got to do the Trump approach and address it jovially and make light of it.
Jovially.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I got the best words.
Right.
I've got the best words. I'm the
No
best.
one's ever had words this good. I cannot do an impression to save my life. But the way he talks is hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think of Vivek Ramaswamy?
I wanted to like Vivek a lot.
But you don't.
I wanted to like him a lot. I still think that he's made so many positive impressions on me, but at the same time, he's not been consistent in terms of the positive impressions, right? Picking fights with Nikki Haley over silly things like TikTok and personal attacks on her family. Come on, man. You've got to act presidential. I loved when he came out of the gates. He's prepared. He's a minority. He's young. So many things there that anybody could rally behind and love. But then there's these behavioral challenges where you're like, dude, the last thing I want to do is have you be negotiating with the Prince of Saudi Arabia and you're going to jab him on one of his wives. Like, no, that's not a good idea for us. No, thank you. Right. Again, neophyte beginner kind of error that he's going to try to fix up. But that's where we are right now. And again, going back to the original question, there is a very solid chance that a Trump or a Biden presidency is going to change its course, even 15 or 30 degrees, change its course, focus on American needs, focus on American economy, maybe even apologize for bad calls in the past. Who knows?
Good luck with that one.
But they can change the course and make significant benefits. But if they stay their course, then it's just more pain for all of us. And we can't stand by idly and let that happen. The pyramid, the civilization pyramid is not worth just sitting by and being silent. We have a chance to impact our state. We should.
Yeah, no doubt. I think a lot of people are going to try to have impact during this election cycle. If you like that clip, check out another powerful clip right here, and I'll see you there.